This is Lance and Raw, the voice of the fans, and this is the League of Ireland Match Day 9 review. David Dunn here, joined by Conor McAvoy, taking a swig out of his bottle there. And of course, before we get started, folks, if you haven't already, hit subscribe on the YouTube channel. It's ad-free now. We've learned our lesson. Conor's learned his lesson, I should say. Also, head over to the Facebook, Instagram, and our Twitter account. And if you haven't already, head over to lanceandroy.ie, where you got articles on the League of Ireland and all other facets of Irish football. And of course, head over to Rep Tracker, where Conor is doing God's work with the future and the current boys and girls in green. Right, Conor, how are you doing?
I'm the best. I'm all well. I'm ready to talk about some League of Ireland after what was another very, very entertaining round of fixtures, which is, I think at this stage with League of Ireland, I'd say you'd agree, it's just a given. Everything's entertaining. Whether it's the football or whatever happens off the pitch or whatever happens between managers, it's just entertaining, isn't it?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, especially with the dearth of entertainment from the Premier League at the moment. It's good to it's good to get a little bit of entertainment, isn't it?
Yeah.
With football, since it's gone very boring and very sort of mundane and sanitized, and the League of Ireland has none of that. It's very old school.
Isn't it? It's just passion. It's just for the love. You do it for the love of the game, really.
Yeah, pure passion, and that is what it's about. But we're going to go through some of the fixtures here. Just going to read out what the results from the last match day. And of course, on Friday there were 4 fixtures. Cork City hosting Pats. Pats, of course, won 2-0 at Cork. Derry City imploding against Drogheda United 3-1 at home. Shelbourne, of course, beating Bohemians in the Dublin Derby 1-0. And Shamrock Rovers sweeping aside Waterford. Of course, that was on the Friday. And then on the Saturday, we had Sligo at home to Galway United, and of course, losing the Bit of Red, losing 2-1, I should say there. And then, of course, we had Shamrock Rovers with their game in hand on the Tuesday, battering Cork City 4-1 there at the Tanda Stadium. So it's been a good weekend there for Shamrock Rovers winning their game in hand. Conor, first fixture we're going to talk about, obviously, was Cork City at home to Pats. I just had to say, nothing against the chap, but stay to Philip Long on commentary. Oh, sounds like a porno. A very bad porno. But of course, Chris Forrester with a screamer in the 43rd minute. Brandon Kavanagh just before halftime whistle there with a bit of a daisy cutter. I mean, they were going on. You swear it was like...
it was Forrester's goal. It was as good as Forrester's. When it was a great finish, but it wasn't Forrester's level that you go, wow. It's not often you see a goal like that.
Yeah, it was... Yeah. No, Forrester's goal was a screamer.
Yeah, it was outrageous.
But Brandon Kavanagh's was a bit like... No, it was a good finish, but I thought the goalkeeper could have done better from seeing it. But the way the commentators are going on about it. But yeah, Pats, my team doing well down in Cork, down the Rebel County, the second city of Ireland.
I'm sure we'll probably leave Cork until we talk about last night's game, because it's probably more important reflecting that after them having 2 games in the weekend, which I think we can safe to say was a disaster, taking away 0 points. But they played basically, as most people would say, they played the 2 best footballing teams in the league. But in fairness, Pats do what Pats do, and they went down to Turner's Cross on Friday night, and the moments of magic that they needed from Chris Forrester and Brandon Kavanagh just was probably the difference in the end. The 2 lads that you'd think, they're the lads if you want to get something out of nothing. It's probably with like the injuries to Ramal Palmer and Aidan Keena out and all the pressure being on Bailey up front. At least you don't have to worry about him scoring all the goals when you have Kavanagh in such good form, like coming off scoring that. I know what was it last weekend, but that winner he got against Waterford to win the last minute would have had him in great confidence at the moment. And then Forrester's he's just a legend of the league, isn't he? He's just top class. He oozes real star ability. And I think I didn't watch the full Pats game now. I was deeply involved watching other games, but Pats do what Pats done. They went down to Cork, played nice football and scored nice goals and won the game.
Yeah. Will we talk about last night's game? A time recording,
Yeah.
Rovers against Cork City. Of course, Rovers battering Cork, really. Aaron Green with a nice finish in the 35th minute. Joshua Honohan, nice header actually. And
Did you just call him Joshua?
It's not Joshua.
Well, he could be Joshua, but it's kind of sort of thing. It's like,
Is it Josh? Is it?
well, I don't know. I've never heard anyone ever call him Joshua. Like, it's just kind of
Yeah,
like,
well, I'm calling him Joshua, right? I'm a
yeah,
fan of you two, Joshua Tree, Joshua Hanahan. It's a great honor. So shut up,
Conan.
Connor.
Conan.
Hanahan. And then, of course, Roberto Lopez in 48 and Jack Byrne. Nice finish, actually, for Jack Byrne. Of course, he set up a couple of goals as well, didn't he? And then Derek Crowley in stoppage time, really. It was done and dusted, and they probably switched off at that time. So, yeah, a disaster, as you said, for Cork. No, no
Yeah,
points.
Cork were terrible yesterday. They were absolutely awful. Like, they were all over the shop. Like, you could see Tim Clancy's interview after, he was absolutely raging.
Yeah.
Speaking about the lack of players that communicate on the pitch and the lack of leaders, and that he said, well, he said they'll be gone in the summer if they don't improve in that way, and they'll be springing players in. Well, they need players anyway, Dave, to be honest, because if they've lost Keaton for the rest of the season with that Achilles tear, which is very sad to see, and Shawnee Maguire hasn't picked up a couple of knocks, and especially he's not getting any younger. He's not, I wouldn't say he's an old player as of yet, but he's still not getting any younger, and the lack, like, they're having to, like, Cal O'Sullivan is kind of having to fill in sort of as the highest man on the pitch, which kind of takes away, you want him at least out wide in some context that he can pick up the ball and drive at men. But when he was playing with his back to goal pretty much the whole game against Rovers, which was a waste of time. But in fairness, Rovers were absolutely exceptional. I thought some of the football they played was absolutely gorgeous. It was, and when you see a Jack Byrne in full flow at his best, there's not many people you'd rather pay to watch to see, because he was absolutely outrageous. His goals, his ability to set up things, it's just, and especially Heimer was there to watch in person. Heimer
He
might
was.
think fancy now, but I think he has a bit more consistency in staying fit with Jack Byrne before he comes back into the Ireland equation. But no, he's an unbelievable footballer. And Rovers in general, Michael Noonan was top class up front. He did everything but score, but his hold up plays, link up plays, some of the dummies he threw, he was top. I was like, guys, I put up a post last night on Instagram TV about all the young players that played last night. It was mad to see how many young players came on or even started, and like all played meaningful minutes. Of like, there was of under the age of 22. They had Michael Noonan, Victor Ozenvula, Corey O'Sullivan, John O'Sullivan, and then for Cork they had Carl O'Sullivan, Matthew Kernan, David Dunn, not you, and Harvey Skeeters came on as well. So like, it was a serious amount of young talent on that pitch last night. And they didn't just play. A lot of them were very, very good. Like Victor Ozenvula was brilliant when they came on last night. John O'Sullivan I thought was excellent. Corey's, well, all the Rover boys were excellent. Even your namesake when he came on, still only just turned 16, I thought he was very solid when he came on for Cork last night. Some lovely touches, especially in the team that had basically no possession. And Alex Nolan as well. Actually, he was one of the other young lads that played for Cork. So like, it was such a good thing to see. I thought they have to have so many young lads, not just playing, but showing they're as good as anyone else on the pitch.
No, absolutely. So I was just laughing when you were heaping praise to Shamrock Rovers, because you know I'm going to be getting a text message from a favorite Bows fan. I'm going to be getting dogs abuse now, or you're going to be getting dogs abuse.
Oh, what's wrong with praising Rovers when they play well?
That's not allowed, Conor. That's not allowed. Speaking of Bows, actually, of course, lost 1-0 at Shelburne. Mipo Obadeko came off the bench.
Who?
Obadeko.
Oh, Jesus Christ! Where's the DECK in his name?
Well, how do you say his name?
You said Obadeko.
Yeah.
There's only one D in his name.
Well, speaking of which, Bows, of course, lost away to Shelburne at Talca Park 1-0. Mipo Odebeko on the 78th minute, coming in off the bench. He's a left-footed player, I take it, isn't he?
No.
Is he not? I thought he was left-footed. The way he hit that with his right foot, it looked like a left-footed player.
No, it was a toe poke, because
it was.
Said Romario was the only player he says scores goals like that. But
no, it was a cheeky poke, wasn't it? It was a cheeky poke up the hole. Just
yeah.
Sorry, no, he was delighted with that, and a bit of a scrappy game, really. Not really much quality.
Yeah.
Sorry, I'm gonna get a text over that now. But Shelburne just humming along nicely. Sold out, wasn't it, as well?
Yeah.
The Dublin Derby. So fantastic stuff.
Not just sold out 2 weeks in advance. People were trying to sell fake tickets. If you didn't see, there was fake tickets going
Mad,
about.
isn't it?
That's the demand to go to the
With
League of Ireland
Leinster
games.
playing as well on the same night.
Yeah, oh, Leinster. But anyway, I don't think the pitch at Talca still doesn't help with that sort of game. The pitch has improved, as I said, on commentary compared to what it was at the start of the season, but it still has a way to go before it should be summer ready type pitch. But I thought Shell's done what Shell's do. They got the job done. Never acting too pretty. Meepo, when he came off the bench, I thought was excellent. The goal, I thought it was a superb goal, because the fact that he thought of throwing the dummy, obviously when he went to go to his left, and then the toe poke, I think is brilliant. I think it's absolutely superb to have that in. He knew just a quick snapshot of toe poking into the back of net rather than probably fully open up in his body, and someone might get in a block on it, because there was quite a few defenders in the box. And then I thought, I don't know if you've seen, but Roddy Collins made a very strange statement after, saying how much he loves Meepo this and but he's one of the worst finishers he's seen in League of Ireland. Like, in this bit, like, he's played he scored 2 goals in whatever his 9 games, but he's only literally come to league. As Damien Duff said, he was around a couple of different clubs, and what we know, Dave, is how hyped up he was 4 or 5 years ago, and the fact that it hadn't gone as planned from it would have took a huge toll on him, and he's trying to rebuild his career as such with Shells. And I've seen a lot of that lad play over the last 4 or 5 years, particularly at like underage level, and his finishing is definitely not poor at all. His finishing is top class. It's just a thing of confidence, and he's a kind of player that just kind of, I'm sure when you've seen him play for Shells, he just shoots as soon as he gets it. It's just he overdoes it at times. He kind of just shoots for the sake of it, not when maybe there's a better option on.
Is that not a bit of a lack of finesse though, and for want of a better phrase, a bit of a lack of a football brain, or using his football brain? If you're just,
I think it's a lack. I think it's just a lack of using his football brain to just. I don't even know if it's a snapshot, but I think it's just anytime he feels he can get the ball out of his feet, he'll shoot. Not that he's like you see him getting the ball out of. He always strikes it well. It's just sometimes it's just why you shouldn't have shot there.
Yeah, that I can see that would probably piss off a lot of managers. I'm not saying he doesn't have a football brain. I'm just saying, like, he's just very like, oh, got to shoot. No, hold on, foot in the ball. Oh, whoops, foot in the ball. Have a look around. There's probably better options, or what he did was he dummied it. To be fair, he did quite well because he dummied it on his left, and then he just a cheeky poke up the hole, and it worked.
I think the thing is, I don't think Shell's players and Duff mind as much, because I seen an interview Sean Boyd done, I think it was on Off the Ball, saying that how sharp he is at training and how good he actually is at finishing and stuff, and that he says when the pitches get better, he thinks he'll tear it up even more, because the fact is when you're taking first touches and stuff, it's so much easier to get the ball out of your feet when it's a better quality pitch rather than the sort of mucky pitches at the moment, unfortunately. But I just thought what Roddy Conor said was a bit ridiculous, because I'd say he's watching them more than 3 times a season, and he probably would. I don't know if he was on media duty for that game he played against Drogheda in the what was I going to say? The President's Cup, which he scored in as well. So I think it was just Roddy Collins overdoing it, and it seemed that Damien Duff was quite annoyed by the comments as well. But I guess you're going to get these wild comments from Roddy Collins. Good morning, United legendary manager.
And Carlisle United as well, isn't it? Yeah, no, fair enough. Moving on, Derry City losing 3-1 at home to Drogheda. I mean, from what I saw of it, Derry were on top, absolutely battering Drogheda, which I've seen a lot of this season when I've actually watched Derry. They seem to be on top, just can't finish. Liam Boyce got a goal in the 64th minute. Great bit of skill by Ronan Boyce. Are they related, by the way?
No, I don't think so. I don't believe so.
But lovely bit of skill, left foot onto his right, thinks it in, great finish. And then 2 minutes later, Liam Boyce gets sent off for what had to be the dumbest second yellow card.
Ridiculous.
I mean, he wasn't like, there was another lad running up on him. Like, someone else could have made a challenge. And he got done for a second yellow card. And that was it. He fell apart after that, didn't he? Drogheda just went for the juggler. Because then Conor Keeley on the 64th minute with a decent finish. Decent, I don't mean that in a good way. And then he got another one then 4 minutes later. And
another decent finish.
Yeah, smashed it, didn't he? And then Warren Davis on the 85th minute finished it off. And, Derry were just absolute they completely lost the impetus over that. Really lean boys like hero and villain in the space of 2 minutes, unbelievable. But Derry, I know Drogheda, yes, and you know,
Top of
go
the
on.
league, looking down on the Pats and the DV will soon understand why. But no, it was
I'm
from
sorry. Oh fuck it. Yeah, they probably are going to win the league. I give up.
but
Yeah.
yeah, that was from Liam Boyce, one of the most idiotic things I've seen all season. To go from being a senior international at Northern Ireland to coming home to play for Derry, looking at probably, hopefully, thinking to himself, I'll be one of the better strikers in the league. I'll score goals. I'll make an impact. He's definitely on a very hefty wage with money Derry have invested in lads coming from the Scottish League, and he let he went from hero to villain, as you said, and he did let his team down there because as good as it is to get your first goal and get off the mark, to do something so idiotic 2 minutes later is ridiculous. Like I'd say Derry at that stage probably would have thought if you had the option, would you rather take the goal and then get a red card and then or just keep the score level and keep them on the pitch? I'd say I know in hindsight it's a great thing, but I think they probably would have had 11 men because they were battering on the
They were on
goal.
top.
Yeah, so the goal was going to come. Like it was just that I don't get it. But then, in fairness, Drogheda took full advantage of it. Conor Keeley keeps proving himself as one of the best centre backs in the league this season. Pat's fans are not happy at me for it, Dave, because it didn't go well from there last season. And then he goes to Drogheda again this year and tears it up. And um, there's now a bit of beef between Drogheda fans and Pat's fans because of it, because Pat's fans can't seem to accept that a lad has gone to a different club and is doing well, which I know there's tribalism, but he's a good lad and he's a very good footballer and he's scored two absolute brilliant goals, especially for a centre half to do what he done so far this season. And to score them two goals was class. And then Warren Davis has continued to prove himself as one of the best young players in the league this season, scoring goals, showing Drogheda that they have a young striker there that they might need to really invest as much as up front as people might have thought. So no, it's good to see Drogheda. It's good to have the underdog story continue for one more week anyway, as the league leaders. And they're a good club. They have some lovely footballers, and they know exactly what they need to do under Kevin Doherty, and they're on the right direction.
Yeah. No, fair. We did touch on it very slightly. We'll touch on it again. Shamrock Rovers obviously beating Waterford 2-0 on the Friday as well. Aaron McAniff, great header actually in the 33rd minute. And then Lee Grace, bit of dodgy goalkeeping really at the end there in the 84th minute. And Rovers, great weekend for them. And of course, another Rovers didn't have such a great weekend. They're not having a very good season either. Sligo Rovers losing 2-1 at home to Galway. Well, Cian Byrne putting the visitors up 2-0 on the 21st to 49th minute, and then Owen Elding with a penalty on the 72nd minute. It just goes from bad to worse, doesn't it, for the bit of red. Bit of red.
It's sad to see, to be honest, because it must be mentally draining for the players at this stage, because and especially John Russell as well, who you can tell is a very good manager, sets them up very well. They always play lovely football. Defensively, they are usually quite solid, and then it's a moment of madness or something happens that doesn't go their way.
Yeah.
Like, and especially like you can't warrant for Cian Byrne scoring that absolute worldie of a free kick, and they had chances in the second half. Realistically, if it went off chances, you probably say they probably should have got a draw of the game. Owen Elding scored, actually was a lovely penalty, but he had a couple of chances himself to score, which he probably be disappointed with. But I guess that's what you get with a young lad that's playing his first real season as a main man in that side. But I'd say it's very disappointing for them, because like, especially when you continue to play nice football and create loads of chances, and then something happens, it's going to take a toll on them eventually. That eventually things will, the first style of football, players get frustrated with each other. John Russell starts probably going away from his ways to try and win games, which wouldn't suit these style of players. But you'd hope things would improve for Sligo, because they have a lot of talent in that squad, and they do, in fairness, have a lot of injuries, which doesn't help. But losing the Connacht Derby the other day does not help for the mindset of players and fans. So hopefully they can turn it around this week. But it's just one of the things, when you're in that drought, you just don't know how to get out of it.
Right. So this is how the League of Ireland is after 9 Round nine standings. There we go. Drogheda United on top of the table with 18 points. St. Pat's in second on 17 points. Shamrock Rovers in third on 17 as well. And fourth, Galway United on 16. Fifth, Shelbourne, the champions, on 16. I mean, really tight between the top 5 teams there and League of Ireland, which was really what makes it very exciting, actually. Then sixth, Derry City on 11 points. Really probably should have more, to be honest, throughout the season. Bows, of course, in seventh on 9 points. Waterford, eighth on 9 points. Cork City in ninth on 7. And Sligo Rovers starting to go drift a little bit there on 4 points at the bottom. And of course, that is round 9. That's how we're looking at. We're going to quick look. There's a quick fire round of fixtures. There's 2 set of fixtures this weekend. Round 10, of course, this Friday. Bows host Cork City. That's on League of Ireland TV. The big game on Virgin Media 2. Of course, you can't watch this on the app if you're in the Republic of Ireland. You have to watch Virgin Media 2. And that's Drogheda United host Shelbourne. Then, of course, Galway United host Derry City. St. Pat's host Shamrock Rovers. Huge game there, actually. I mean, that or Drogheda Shelbourne. That's a top of the table clash. Really could be on Virgin Media 2. And then, of course, Waterford will host Sligo Rovers. That is the round 10 fixtures. Then we move over to...
That's another huge game. That bottom of the table clash as well. Sligo and Waterford.
Yeah, massive games as well. Yeah. Huge games, actually. And then we're going to look over to round 11, which, of course, will be the Monday, the Bank Holiday Monday. 2 o'clock on Virgin Media 2. You can watch Shamrock Rovers host Bohemians. Massive game there. Dublin Derby. Cork City then at 5 o'clock will host Waterford United. Drogheda United will host St. Pat's. Another top-of-the-table clash there. And Shelbourne will host Galway United. And then on the Tuesday, Derry City at home to Sligo Rovers. So some massive games there. And, of course, we will be back and we'll be looking at...
What are you going to do? What are you going to do when Drogheda win against Shells and Pats this weekend? This weekend, Monday?
Probably listen to you go, oh, Dave, you just had to go down. Go down.
You have a lot of apologies to make.
I make no apologies. I watched the President's Cup down in Sussex. It was terrible. The game wasn't terrible. They were terrible. Shells battered them. It could have been 5 or 6. And he sort of took the foot off the gas. And I made an assumption on that. And I'll tell you what, Conor, just like it did for Robbie Brady, revitalised his career, I have rejuvenated Drogheda football. My words carry weight. They've obviously watched this podcast. They listened to this podcast. They watched this stream. And they've gone, do you know what? Dave's right. We need to get our act together. And they have. You should be thanking me. Anyone in Drogheda should be thanking me.
For what?
For rejuvenating Drogheda football.
No, just giving another person for them to hate. You're on that list.
Why would you hate me? Why would you hate me?
Because you hate this club.
I took them from the mire, the muck of avarice of being really crap on the President's Cup. And now they're on top of, where is it? They're on top of the round 9 standings of League of Ireland.
I tell you what, I know we were talking about Europe playing a part when Europe starts, but Weavers Park is going to be a tough place for any team in Europe to come play when whoever they play, and it'll be I can't remember actually. Is it this year's Europa League or is it next year? The cup winners go into Europa League, but could be this year's Europa League
every season.
Yeah, I think it's going. I think they play in this Europa League or the second round of Conference League, and I think it's first round of Europa League, and I know it probably will be a difficult tie, but at home at Weavers Park, where it's actually they've changed the name again. It's not Weavers Park. They change the name every year. The ground, but it's going to be a very good place for anyone to go to because the style of play they have with the fans they have, it'll be a big cauldron.
Yeah, no, fantastic. Look, fantastic. You know, it's good to see like different teams in League of Ireland getting a little bite of Europe and getting that money in from UEFA because you ain't going to get from the prize money from the league. Unfortunately, you have to get into Europe. You have to get the prize money in there. And it's fantastic. And, you know, any League of Ireland team, and I know I'm going to get a text over this, and I hate text. I'm sorry, but I want to see the whole league progress, and it's going to be fantastic. Anyway, we're going to leave it there, guys. Thank you very much. Don't forget, we will be live on Monday. We will be live on Monday, this Monday, because Mark can't do Sunday. You're going to have Conor and Martin, the B team, on Monday. They're going to be live from...
What's the A team?
Me on my own. really, when I used to do my single shows back in the day, Conor. Halcyon days they were. But of course, the two lads to be on. Then we are gonna have something during the week as well, because there's not a lot going on really. What did you say? It was like two players, maybe Newcastle. There was like two matches with possible Irish players.
Yeah, it was like Franco Uma if he's possibly on the bench for Palace tomorrow night, and then King Didsey plays on Thursday.
Yeah, not really. So we're gonna have a bit of a fun episode. Another one of those where we can shout loads more abuse at me. But anyway, yeah, just keep an eye on the socials, folks. We're gonna have them out there. If you haven't already, please do subscribe to the YouTube channel. We are trying to grow the YouTube channel. Hit the like button if you please. Head over to our Facebook, Instagram, and our Twitter account. And then, of course, head over to lansandroar.ie. That is lansandroar.ie, where you can get an audio version of this podcast. Although you should be really watching it, to be fair. And then you can head over to Conor as well at Rep Tracker. Anyway, I'm David Dunn. He is Conor McAvoy. This is the League of Ireland Review. We're out of here.